The ship came out of faster-than-light travel with a soft hum. Yuna looked through the large window and saw the space station floating in the darkness. It was huge, bigger than anything she had ever seen. The station looked like a giant flower made of metal and glass, with 12 long arms reaching out into space. "That is the council station," said Junho from behind her. He was checking his uniform one more time. 12 species, 12 arms, one for each. Yuna nodded slowly. She was the first human ambassador to attend the Galactic Council meeting. Earth had only made contact with alien life 3 years ago. Now, here she was, about to meet beings from across the galaxy. "Are you nervous?" Junho asked. He was her assistant and translator, though most aliens spoke through universal translators anyway. "A little," Yuna admitted, "but mostly curious." Their small ship moved toward the station. As they got closer, Yuna could see other ships arriving too. Some were long and thin like needles. Others were round like balls. A few looked like living things, with what seemed like scales or skin on the outside. The docking process was smooth. When the doors opened, Yuna took her first breath of alien air. It smelled clean, almost too clean, like a hospital, but without the bad smell. A creature was waiting for them. It stood on 4 legs and had 2 arms. Its skin was blue and covered in tiny scales. Its eyes were large and yellow, with no white part at all. "Welcome, human ambassador," the creature said. The translator in Yuna's ear changed the sounds into words she could understand. "I am Delegate Tarim of the Velthan people. I will guide you to the main hall." "Thank you, Delegate Tarim," Yuna said with a small bow. She had read that the Velthans respected small shows of respect. Tarim made a sound that might have been happiness. Its tail moved from side to side. "Please, follow me." They walked through long hallways. The walls showed images of different planets. Some had purple skies. Some had 3 suns. One showed an ocean world with no land at all. "Today's meeting is about survival protocols," Tarim explained as they walked. "We share information about dangerous creatures in the galaxy. It helps new species understand what threats exist." "That sounds useful," Junho said. "It is very useful," Tarim agreed. "Many young species have lost explorers because they did not know about dangerous animals on other worlds. We hope to prevent such deaths." They reached a large door. It opened without a sound, and Yuna stepped into the biggest room she had ever seen. The ceiling was so high that clouds actually floated near the top. The floor was made of something that looked like white stone but felt soft under her feet. In the center of the room was a circular area with seats arranged in rings, going up like a stadium. But what made Yuna stop and stare were the aliens' so many different shapes and sizes. Some were small, no bigger than cats. Others were giants, easily 10 meters tall. Some had many arms. Some had no arms at all. Some floated in the air. A few were inside tanks of water or special gases. "Please, this way," Tarim said, guiding them to a section of seats. "The human delegation sits here." Yuna and Junho took their seats. Around them, aliens of all kinds were settling in. The noise was strange clicks, hums, whistles, and sounds Yuna could not even describe. "Look at that one," Junho whispered, pointing carefully at a creature that seemed to be made entirely of crystals. Light passed through its body, creating tiny rainbows. "And that one," Yuna whispered back, looking at something that looked like a floating jellyfish, but with eyes that glowed green. A loud tone filled the room. Everyone became quiet. At the center of the circular floor, a platform rose from the ground. On it stood a creature that looked like a tall bird with 4 wings and no beak. Instead, it had a mouth that opened in 3 directions. "Welcome, delegates of the 12 Species Council," the bird creature said. I am High Speaker Malin. Today, we gather for our annual review of Galactic Dangers. As always, we will update our list of the most lethal animals in known space. A huge holographic display appeared above the platform. It showed the words, Galaxy's Most Lethal Animals Annual Review. We have much to discuss, High Speaker Malin continued. But first, I wish to welcome our newest observers. The humans of Earth have recently achieved faster-than-light travel and have joined our galactic community. Ambassador Yuna is here to observe and learn. Many eyes, sensors, and other things Yuna could not name turned to look at her. She stood up and gave a small bow. "Thank you for welcoming us," she said. Her voice was carried throughout the room by the station systems. "We are honored to be here and eager to learn from your wisdom." There were sounds of approval from around the room. Yuna sat back down. "Now," High Speaker Malin said, "let us begin. Delegate Riss of the Funari, please present the updated list." A small creature with 8 legs crawled to the center platform. It was covered in soft fur and had many small eyes. Despite its cute appearance, it moved with the confidence of someone important. "Thank you, High Speaker," Delegate Riss said in a high voice. "Over the past cycle, our scientists have studied creatures from over 3,000 worlds. We have updated our list of the 50 most dangerous animals in the galaxy." The holographic display changed. Now it showed a rotating image of a planet Yuna did not recognize. "We will start with the least dangerous of the 50 and work our way up to the most lethal," Riss explained. "Please observe carefully. This information could save your lives." Yuna leaned forward with interest. Junho pulled out a small device to take notes. The room became completely silent. Even the floating creatures stopped moving. Everyone watched as the first image appeared on the display. It showed a creature with long teeth and sharp claws. Its body was covered in armor-like skin. It had 6 legs and a tail with spikes. "Number 50, Delegate Riss announced. The Dreadclaw of Proxima 7. This creature can tear through metal with its claws and is nearly impossible to kill." Yuna heard several aliens make sounds of fear or disgust. The image rotated slowly, showing the creature from all angles. "Our experts recommend immediate retreat if you encounter this animal," Riss continued. "Engagement is not advised." Yuna exchanged a look with Junho. The creature did look scary, but she could not help thinking that it looked a little bit like an earth crocodile, just with extra legs. The next image appeared, and the next, and the next. With each new creature, the aliens in the room became more serious. Some covered their eyes. Others made sounds of horror. A few delegates actually left their seats to move further back, as if the holographic images could hurt them. But Yuna found herself becoming less scared with each new animal. Instead, she found herself becoming confused, because she was starting to recognize some of these creatures. Not exactly, of course. They were alien animals from distant worlds, but they looked similar to things she had seen before, things she had eaten before. She looked at Junho. His face showed the same confusion. "Junho," she whispered very quietly, "is it just me, or does number 42 look like a really big octopus?" Junho stared at the image on the display. The creature had many arms, a soft body, and a sharp beak. It could change its color and squeeze through tiny spaces. According to Delegate Riss, it was one of the most terrifying predators in the ocean worlds. "It does," Junho whispered back. "It really does." Yuna felt something strange building in her chest. It might have been the beginning of a laugh. She pushed it down and kept watching. The list continued. Number 30 showed something that looked like a bear. Number 25 looked like a wild pig. Number 18 was almost exactly like an earth shard. By the time they reached number 10, Yuna had to bite her lip to stay quiet, because she had eaten at least half of these most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. She had eaten them for dinner. I am sure you are, Malin said. But first, I think several of our delegates need a moment to recover. The break lasted 2 hours. When the delegates returned to the council chamber, many of them had changed. Some species had taken medicine to calm down. Others had called their home worlds to report what they had learned. A few had been crying, based on the wet marks on their faces or the changed colors of their skin. High Speaker Malin called the room to order. We will now continue our discussion with the human delegates, Malin announced. Before the break, Ambassador Yuna made several extraordinary claims. Some delegates have requested evidence. A tall being with scales covering most of its body stepped forward. Yuna had learned during the break that this was Delegate Vorn of the Kathrani Collective. The Kathrani were known for being skeptical and demanding proof of everything. I do not doubt the ambassador's honesty, Vorn said, but her claims are difficult to believe. She says her people eat creatures that have killed thousands across the galaxy. I would like to see proof of this. Yuna nodded. She had expected this. Of course, she said. Junho, do you have access to the Earth network from here? Junho was already pulling out his portable computer. Yes, the station has connections to most communication networks, including Earth's. Good. Please find some cooking videos. The room became very quiet. Delegate Vorn's scales moved in a way that might have meant confusion. Cooking videos? Vorn repeated. Yes, on Earth, people record themselves preparing food and share these videos for others to watch. It is very popular. Millions of people watch these videos every day. Junho connected his computer to the holographic display system. The image of the beaver disappeared, replaced by a loading screen. What would you like to see first? Junho asked. Yuna looked at the list of creatures still displayed on a smaller screen. Let us start with the octopus. The creature you called the Death Grip. Junho typed quickly. A moment later, a video appeared on the large display. It showed a bright kitchen. A human woman with a friendly smile was standing at a counter. In front of her was a large bowl containing several octopuses. Hello everyone, the woman in the video said. Today I am going to show you how to make my grandmother's special octopus salad. Several delegates made sounds of distress just from seeing the creatures in the bowl. The woman in the video picked up one of the octopuses. Its arms wrapped around her hand. She laughed. This one is still a little active, she said cheerfully. That means it is fresh. She then proceeded to prepare the octopus. The video showed every step in clear detail. Cleaning, cutting, boiling, seasoning. A delegate near the front made a gagging sound and looked away. She is laughing, Delegate Riss whispered. She is laughing while handling the death grip. The video continued. The woman sliced the cooked octopus into pieces, added vegetables and sauce, and presented the final dish with a bright smile. And there you have it, a delicious octopus salad. Perfect for a summer dinner. The video ended. The room was silent. Perhaps something else? Yuna suggested. Junho found another video. This one was from a different cooking show. A man was standing in front of a large fish tank. What creature is that? Delegate Tareem asked. I believe that is what the ambassador called a pufferfish. Junho said. Several delegates immediately looked away. The video showed the chef carefully removing a pufferfish from the tank. He explained to the camera how dangerous the fish was, how one wrong cut could release enough poison to kill 30 people. Then why is he touching it? Someone shouted. The chef in the video began the careful process of preparing the fish. He removed specific parts with expert precision. Each organ he removed was placed in a special container. Those parts are poison, he explained to the camera. They must be removed completely. If even a tiny bit remains, the customer could die. And people pay for this? Delegate Vorn asked. The Catherine's voice was filled with disbelief. Quite a lot of money, actually, Una said. It is considered a luxury food. The video showed the final dish. Thin slices of fish arranged beautifully on a plate. The chef picked up a piece with chopsticks and ate it with obvious enjoyment. Delicious, the chef said. The flavor is delicate and unique. There is nothing else like it. A delegate in the back row quietly fell off their seat. Show them the shark, Una said. The next video was from a fishing boat. A group of humans had caught a large shark. They were pulling it onto the deck while laughing and cheering. That is a blood hunter, Riss said weakly. They are handling it with their bare hands. The video showed the shark being cut open and prepared. The humans moved quickly and efficiently. They had clearly done this many times before. We will make steaks from this one, a man in the video said. Nothing better than fresh shark steak on the grill. Another video showed a cooking competition. Chefs were racing to prepare alligator meat in creative ways. They seemed completely comfortable handling the creatures, joking with each other as they worked. Please, a delegate called out. Please stop. But Una was not finished. Show them the bear, she said. The next video was different. It was from a documentary about traditional hunting. A group of humans in cold weather clothing were trekking through a snowy forest. We have been following this bear for 2 days, a man explained to the camera. It is a big one. Should feed the whole village for a week. The video showed the hunt. The humans moved carefully, working together. When they finally found the bear, they did not run away. They approached it. The bear, which was enormous, stood on its back legs and roared. It is attacking. Someone in the council room screamed, but the humans in the video did not run. They raised their weapons. Minutes later, the bear was down. The rest of the video showed the humans celebrating. They gathered around the fallen creature with obvious joy. Then they began the process of taking it apart. Every part of the bear is used, a woman in the video explained. The meat we eat. The fur keeps us warm. The fat is used for cooking. Even the bones can be made into tools. They are happy, Delegate Tareem said in a hollow voice. They just killed a forest king and they are celebrating. It is a proud moment, Una explained. Hunting a large predator takes great skill. The hunters are celebrating their success. Delegate Vaughan stepped forward. The Catherine's scales were now a pale color that Una had not seen before. I have seen enough, Vaughan said. I believe the ambassador's claims. Humans do eat these creatures. I do not understand it. I do not think I can ever understand it. But I believe it. There is one more thing you should see, Juno said. His voice was quiet but serious. He brought up a new video. This one was different from the others. It was not a cooking show or a documentary. It was just a regular family video. A backyard. Summertime. A man was standing at a cooking device that Junho explained was called a grill. Smoke rose into the air around him. Children were playing. A woman was setting a table. An older man sat in a chair, drinking something and laughing at a joke. The man at the grill opened the lid. Inside were large pieces of meat cooking over fire. What is cooking on there? Delegate Riss asked. Junho checked the video description. According to the comments, that is deer meat, wild boar sausage, and chicken. Chicken? A bird that humans keep for eggs and meat. We eat billions of them every year. The video showed the family sitting down to eat. They passed plates around. The children laughed and fought over the best pieces. The adults talked and smiled. It was completely ordinary. Completely normal. Just a family sharing a meal. But on that table was enough meat to terrify most of the beings in the council chamber. This is normal for your people, Delegate Vaughan said. It was not a question. Yes, Una said. This is just a regular family dinner. Every culture on Earth has something similar. Families gather. They share food. They talk. They laugh. And the food is always these creatures? Not always. We also eat plants, grains, fruits. But meat is common, yes. The gas being in the suit floated forward. How many animals does the average human eat in a lifetime? Jun-Ho thought about this. I would need to look up exact numbers, but I believe the average is several thousand. Several thousand? Yes. Chickens alone account for most of that. Then pigs, cows, fish, and other animals. Thousands, someone repeated. Each human eats thousands of animals. Over a lifetime, yes. The room was completely quiet. The video of the family dinner was still playing on the screen. The children were now eating something sweet for dessert. The parents were cleaning up. I think, High Speaker Malin said slowly, that we need to have a very serious discussion about how we classify the human species. I agree, said Delegate Vorn. As do I, said Delegate Riss. As do we all, said the gasping Yuna. Watched as the delegates began talking among themselves. Some were pointing at the screen where the family video was still playing. Others were looking at the list of dangerous creatures. Junho leaned close to her. I think the cooking videos were very effective. Yuna nodded. Maybe too effective. They looked terrified. Can you blame them? They just learned that humans eat their nightmares for dinner. When you put it that way, a delegate Yuna did not recognize approached them. It was a small being that walked on 6 legs and had antennae that moved constantly. Ambassador, the being said, I have studied predators my entire life. I have seen the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy, but I have never seen anything. The screaming was not human screaming. It was a mix of sounds that Yuna had never heard before. High-pitched whistles, deep rumbling noises, clicking sounds so fast they blended together. Some aliens made no sound at all, but their bodies changed color rapidly, which seemed to be their way of showing extreme emotion. Order, High Speaker Malin called out. The bird-like creature's 4 wings spread wide. Order in the council chamber. But the chaos continued. Several small delegates were trying to climb over their seats to get away from Yuna. A large creature that looked like a walking pile of rocks had frozen completely, not moving at all. The crystal being that Yuna had noticed earlier was now glowing bright red instead of its normal clear color. Junho, Yuna said, I think I made a mistake. Yes, Junho agreed. I think you did. Eventually, security officers appeared. They were tall beings with 4 arms and calm expressions. They did not touch anyone, but their presence seemed to help. Slowly, the chaos became quiet again. High Speaker Malin looked at Yuna with eyes that were now a different color than before. Darker, more serious. Ambassador Yuna, the High Speaker said, please explain your statement. You say that humans eat the creatures on this list? Yuna stood straight. She had spoken the truth. Now she had to explain it. Yes, she said. Many of them at least. The ones that look similar to animals on Earth. She pointed at the holographic display. The image of the beaver was still there. This creature, the one you call the water devil, looks almost exactly like an animal we call a beaver. On Earth, beavers are not considered dangerous. They live in forests near rivers. They are actually helpful because they create habitats for other animals. The room was silent. Every being was listening. The creature before it, the one with the fur and claws that you call the Forest King, looks like what we call a bear. Humans have hunted bears for thousands of years. Some humans still eat bear meat today. A delegate near the front made a choking sound. The fish with the teeth, the blood hunter, looks like our sharks. Humans catch millions of sharks every year. We eat their meat. We use their fins to make soup. We have actually caught so many that some types of sharks might disappear forever. You are driving the blood hunters to extinction? Delegate Riss asked. The small furry creature's voice was very quiet. By eating them? Yes, Una said simply. More sounds of shock filled the room. The creature you showed from the oceans, the one with 8 arms that changes color, we call that an octopus. It is considered a delicacy in many Earth cultures. My grandmother made wonderful octopus soup. Grandmother? Someone asked. This knowledge is passed down through generations? Yes, Una said. We have been eating these creatures for thousands of years. We have learned the best ways to prepare them. Delegate Tareem stepped forward. The blue-scaled being's tail was completely still, which Una had learned meant extreme surprise. Ambassador, please forgive me for asking, but how is this possible? How can your species eat these animals and survive? Una thought about how to explain it. Humans are what scientists call omnivores, she said. We can eat almost anything. Plants, meat, fish, insects. If it has nutrition, we have probably tried to eat it. Insects as well? Someone called out. Yes, in many Earth cultures, insects are a normal part of meals. They are actually very healthy. Several delegates looked like they might be sick. But these creatures are deadly, High Speaker Malin said. They have killed hundreds of explorers. They have destroyed colonies. How do your people survive eating them? Una smiled slightly. We learn how to catch them safely. We learn how to prepare them. The fish with the spikes, what you call the spike terror, looks like something we call a pufferfish. It is full of poison, yes. But if you prepare it correctly, removing certain parts of the body, the meat is safe to eat. In fact, it is considered very special. People pay a lot of money to eat it. You pay money to eat poison? Riss asked weakly. The thrill is part of the appeal, Una explained, knowing that the chef had to be very skilled to make it safe. Junho stepped forward to stand next to Una. May I add something? High Speaker Malin nodded, seemingly too stunned to speak. I am from a coastal city on Earth, Junho said. We eat seafood every day. Octopus, squid, crab, fish of all kinds. When I was young, my grandfather took me fishing. We would catch small sharks and cook them over a fire on the beach. It was just a normal weekend activity. Normal, someone repeated. Yes, very normal. Almost boring, really. The crystal being suddenly spoke. Its voice was like music, many notes playing at the same time. Human delegates, I must understand something. The creatures on this list have killed members of my species. The blood hunter alone has taken 17 of my family members over the centuries. You are telling me that your people not only survive encounters with these animals, but actively seek them out. For food? Una nodded. Yes, though I am very sorry about your family members. Shark attacks do happen on Earth too. They are rare, but they do happen. And yet you still go into the water? Yes, we love the ocean. We surf in it. We swim in it. We dive deep to see the animals up close. The danger is part of what makes it exciting. The room was completely quiet again. Then a delegate that Una had not noticed before floated forward. It was a being made mostly of gas, contained in a special suit. Its voice came through speakers in the suit. I have studied many species, the gas being said. I have never encountered anything like what you are describing. Your species actively puts itself in danger. It seeks out deadly creatures. It eats them. And it finds this normal? When you put it that way, it does sound strange, Una admitted. But yes, humans have always been like this. If something is dangerous, we want to understand it. If something might kill us, we want to see if we can beat it. If something tastes good, we want to eat more of it. even if it might kill us first? Especially then, sometimes. There is an Earth saying, nothing tastes as good as something you nearly died to get. Junho made a small sound. I am not sure that is a real saying. It should be, Yuna said. High Speaker Malin finally spoke again. The bird-like creature's voice was careful and measured. Ambassador Yuna, I need to understand the full scale of this. Of the 50 creatures on our list, how many does your species eat? Yuna looked at the list still displayed on the screen. She counted quietly. Based on similar Earth animals, I would say we eat 23 of them regularly. Another 10 we eat sometimes. 5 more we eat in certain cultures, but not everywhere. Maybe 4 or 5 that we have hunted in the past but do not eat anymore. So, over 40? Yes, I think so. Delegate Riss made a sound that might have been crying. The small furry creature sat down heavily. For thousands of years, Riss said, we have studied these creatures. We have lost friends and family to them. We have spent countless resources learning how to avoid them. And your species? Your species eats them for dinner? With various sauces, yes. Junho added helpfully. Yuna gave him a look that said, not helping. A new voice spoke up. It was a tall, thin being with very long arms and a face that seemed to have no features at all, just smooth skin. I have a question, the being said. If your people eat these creatures, what do these creatures eat? Yuna paused. Well, they eat various things. Fish, smaller animals. Plants sometimes. Do they eat humans? It was a simple question, but Yuna could tell it was important. Sometimes, yes. Sharks have attacked humans. Bears have attacked humans. Crocodiles have attacked humans. We are not at the top of every food chain on our planet. And yet you dominate your world? Yes. How? Yuna thought about this for a long moment. How did humans become the dominant species on Earth? They were not the strongest. They were not the fastest. They did not have natural weapons like claws or teeth. We work together, she finally said. We learn. We remember. We make tools. If a crocodile kills a human, other humans come back with spears. Then nets, then guns. We adapt until we win. The smooth-faced being nodded slowly. You are saying that when a creature kills one of you, instead of avoiding that creature forever, you return to kill it. Often, yes. And then we learn how to kill more of them. And then we learn if they are good to eat. The room was very quiet again. Then the gas being in the suit spoke once more. I have one final question, Ambassador. The creature you call the beaver, the one we named the water devil. You said children feed them bread in parks. Are you saying that your young, your offspring, approach these creatures without fear? Yuna smiled at the memory of parks back home. Families having picnics. Children laughing and throwing pieces of bread to ducks and beavers and squirrels. Yes, she said. The children think beavers are cute. They are soft and fuzzy. Children like them. For several long seconds, nobody made any sound at all. Then a delegate near the back slowly raised what might have been a hand. I would like to change my vote, it said. I no longer think humans should be classified as a developing species. Nor do I, said another voice. Nor do I, said 20 more voices all at once. High Speaker Malin looked around the room. The bird creature's feathers were puffed up, which Yuna guessed meant extreme stress. It seems, the High Speaker said slowly, that we need to have a much longer conversation about Earth and its people. Yuna straightened her uniform. I am happy to answer any questions you have. The holographic display continued to show creature after creature. Each one was described as deadly, terrifying, and something to avoid at all costs. The aliens in the room reacted with fear to every image. Some made sounds of panic. Others whispered prayers to gods Yuna had never heard of. But Yuna was having a very different experience. Number 15 on the list was a creature from an ocean world. It had 8 arms, a round body, and could spray poison from its mouth. It could also change its skin to match any surface perfectly. The Death Grip, Delegate Riss announced with a trembling voice. This creature has killed more explorers than any other ocean predator. Its poison can kill most species in minutes. There is no known cure. Yuna stared at the image. The creature rotated slowly in the holographic display. She leaned toward Junho. "That is an octopus," she said quietly. "A big one, but still an octopus." Junho nodded slowly. "I had octopus soup last week." They both kept their faces calm. But it was becoming harder. Number 14 was worse. The image showed a fish with spikes all over its body. It could inflate itself to 3 times its normal size. Its spikes carried enough poison to kill 100 beings. "The spike terror," Riss said. "Found in warm waters on 17 different worlds. One touch means death. We recommend destroying these creatures from orbit if possible." Yuna closed her eyes for a moment. She thought about her grandmother's cooking. Her grandmother made the best pufferfish soup in their whole city. The fish had to be prepared very carefully to remove the poison. But when done right, it was delicious. Humans had been eating pufferfish for thousands of years. They called it a delicacy. "Junho," she whispered, "please tell me I am not crazy." "You are not crazy," he whispered back. "That is a pufferfish. I have a restaurant near my apartment that serves it." Number 12 appeared on the screen. It was a massive creature with thick skin, short legs, and a huge mouth filled with teeth. It spent most of its time in water, but could run fast on land. "The river monster," Riss announced. "This creature kills more beings on land-based worlds than any other animal. It is aggressive, territorial, and nearly impossible to stop once it attacks." "Hippo," Yuna and Junho said at the same time. They looked at each other. Yuna had to put her hand over her mouth to stop herself from laughing. The list went on. Number 11 was clearly some kind of bear. Number 10 was a creature that looked exactly like a wild boar, just with an extra set of tusks. Number 9 was basically a very large snake. Each time, the aliens reacted with horror. Each time, Yuna recognized the creature as something humans either hunted, farmed, or ate regularly. Number 8 was particularly interesting. The image showed a large fish with rows and rows of sharp teeth. It could sense blood in the water from very far away. It had been swimming in oceans for millions of years, unchanged, because it was already a perfect killing machine. "The blood hunter," Riss said. "This creature is responsible for countless deaths. It attacks without warning and without mercy. Many species refuse to enter any water where blood hunters might live." "That is just a shark," Junho said, not even bothering to whisper anymore. Luckily, no one seemed to hear him. They were all too busy being afraid of the image on the screen. Yuna thought about shark fin soup. She thought about shark meat served in restaurants. She thought about how humans actually killed millions of sharks every year. So many that some types of sharks were in danger of disappearing forever. The aliens were terrified of an animal that humans were driving to extinction by eating too many of them. Number 7 was a crocodile. At least, that was what it looked like to Yuna. A long body, armored skin, a tail like a weapon, and a mouth full of teeth. "The swamp death," Riss said. The small creature's voice was shaking now. "Ancient, deadly, unchanging. These creatures have existed for millions of years because nothing can kill them." Yuna remembered visiting a farm in Australia during a trip several years ago. They had shown her how crocodiles were raised for meat and leather. The farmer had been very casual about the whole thing. "Good eating," the farmer had said. "Tastes a bit like chicken." Number 6 made several delegates actually scream. It was a large animal covered in fur, with long claws and sharp teeth. It stood on 2 legs and was 3 meters tall. The Forest King, Riss announced. The apex predator of forest worlds across the galaxy. One swipe of its claws can cut through armor. It fears nothing. Bear, Una said to herself. That is just a bear. She thought about bear meat. She had tried it once at a specialty restaurant. It was tough but tasty. Numbers 5 through 2 were all creatures that Una recognized in some form. A giant squid. A pack-hunting dog-like animal. A creature that was basically a huge scorpion. Something that looked like a combination of a shark and an alligator. Each one was described as a nightmare. Each one made the aliens shake with fear. And each one made Una think of food. Finally, they reached number 1. The room became completely silent. Even the floating creatures stopped moving entirely. Everyone watched as the image slowly formed on the holographic display dot. It was smaller than Una expected. Maybe the size of a large cat. It had a long body, short legs, and a flat tail. Its fur looked soft and brown. Its eyes were small and dark. The water devil, Riss said. The delegate's voice was barely a whisper now. The single most dangerous animal in the known galaxy. Una blinked. She leaned forward to look more closely at the image. The creature did not look that scary. In fact, it looked kinda cute. It looked like it would be soft to touch. This creature lives in rivers and lakes, Riss continued. It builds structures that change entire landscapes. It can cut down trees with its teeth. Its tail is a weapon that can break bones. It fights to the death to protect its territory. The image showed the creature swimming. Then it showed the creature on land. Then it showed the strange structures it built, dams made of wood and mud. Una's mouth fell open. The water devil has survived on every planet where it has been found, Riss said. Nothing can remove it. Nothing can stop it. It is the perfect survival machine. Junho grabbed Una's arm. His eyes were wide. Ambassador, he said slowly, is that what I think it is? Una nodded. She could not believe what she was seeing. That is a beaver, she said, the galaxy's most dangerous animal. The creature that made every alien species tremble with fear. The thing that had survived on countless worlds. Because nothing could stop it, it was a beaver. A beaver. Una had seen them in parks. Children threw food to them. People took pictures of them. Some people kept them as pets, and here, in this room full of beings from across the galaxy, they were presenting it as the ultimate predator. Una could not hold it in anymore. She laughed. It was not a small laugh. It was not a polite laugh. It was a loud, surprised laugh that escaped before she could stop it. The sound echoed through the silent room. Every alien turned to look at her. Thousands of eyes, sensors, and other organs all focused on the human ambassador. Delegate Riss stopped speaking. The holographic image of the beaver continued to rotate slowly. Ambassador Una, High Speaker Malin said, do you find something amusing? Una tried to control herself. She really did. But small laughs kept escaping. Junho was hiding his face in his hands. I apologize, Una said, standing up. I meant no disrespect. It is just that, well, she looked at the image of the beaver. Then she looked at all the frightened faces around her. Then she looked back at the beaver. I am sorry, she said, but that creature lives in parks on my planet. Children feed them bread. The room was completely silent. And the ones before it on the list, Una continued. Unable to stop herself, half of those are on my menu back home. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then Delegate Tareem, the blue-scaled creature who had guided them to the room, spoke. What do you mean? Tareem said slowly. On your menu? Una took a deep breath. She had not planned for this. She had not prepared a speech about human eating habits. But now, with every eye in the room on her, she had no choice but to explain. Humans eat many of these animals, she said. We hunt them. We farm them. We cook them in hundreds of different ways. They are food to us. The silence that followed was the deepest silence Yuna had ever experienced. And then the screaming started. The vote was official. The documents were signed. Earth was no longer a developing world in the eyes of the Galactic Council. Instead, it had been given a new classification that had never existed before: Apex Predator Civilization. Yuna stared at the official certificate that had been given to her. The words were written in 12 different languages, one for each member species of the Council. Junho stood beside her, reading over her shoulder. That is quite a title, he said. I did not come here expecting this, Yuna admitted. They were standing in a private room off the main council chamber. After the vote, several delegates had requested time to speak with them personally. But first, they needed a moment to process what had happened. What do we tell Earth? Junho asked why Yuna thought about this. How would she explain to her superiors that humanity had been classified as one of the most dangerous species in the galaxy? Not because of weapons, not because of technology, but because they ate scary animals for dinner. I think we tell them the truth, she said. And then we let them laugh. A soft chime indicated that someone was requesting entry. Yuna straightened her uniform and nodded to Junho to open the door. Delegate Tareem entered. The blue-scaled being looked different now. Its tail was moving slowly, which Yuna had learned meant thoughtfulness rather than fear. Ambassador Yuna, Tareem said. I wanted to speak with you before you return to your ship. Of course, Delegate Tareem. Please. Sit. Tareem sat on a chair that had been adjusted to fit different body types. The chair shifted and changed shape until Tareem looked comfortable. I must confess something, Tareem said. When you first arrived, I thought humans would be a simple species. Young, inexperienced, in need of protection. And now? Yuna asked. Tareem's tail stopped moving entirely. Now I think I was very wrong. We are still young, Yuna said. We have only been traveling among the stars for a short time. We have much to learn. Perhaps. But you have something that older species have lost. You have no fear. Yuna shook her head. That is not true. Humans feel fear all the time. We fear death. We fear pain. We fear losing the people we love. Yet you hunt creatures that could kill you. You eat poisons that could end your life. You go into waters where blood hunters swim. How is that not the absence of fear? Yuna thought carefully before answering. Fear does not stop us, she said. We feel it, but we choose to act anyway. A hunter might be terrified of the bear they are tracking, but they hunt anyway because their family needs food. A chef might be nervous preparing pufferfish, but they do it anyway because they have trained for years and they trust their skills. You act despite the fear. Yes, that is what courage is. Tareem was quiet for a long moment. Then the delegate spoke again. My species, the Velthans, we have always believed that fear should be obeyed. If something frightens us, we avoid it. This is how we have survived for thousands of years. That is also a valid way to survive, Yuna said. But it is not the only way. You have shown me that today. Another chime indicated another visitor. This time, it was Delegate Riss, the small furry creature who had presented the list of dangerous animals. Riss looked embarrassed. The creature's many small eyes would not meet Yuna's gaze. I owe you an apology, Riss said. You do not owe me anything, Yuna replied. Yes, I do. When you laughed at our list, I thought you were mocking us. I thought you did not understand the danger. Now I know the truth. You laughed because to you, These creatures are not nightmares. They are food. I did not mean to be disrespectful. Riss made a sound that might have been a sad laugh. You were not disrespectful. You were honest. I have spent my career studying dangerous animals. I have helped create safety protocols that have saved many lives. But in all that time, I never considered that another approach was possible. What do you mean? I mean that instead of running from dangerous creatures, your people learned to overcome them. Instead of hiding, you fought back. Instead of fear, you chose hunger. Riss's small eyes finally looked up at Yuna. That is remarkable. It is just how we survived on our planet, Yuna said. Earth is not a gentle world. If we had not learned to fight, we would not be here. Your planet must be terrifying. Yuna smiled. It can be, but it is also beautiful. Perhaps one day you will visit and see for yourself. Riss shivered visibly. Perhaps, but I think I will stay away from the kitchens. More delegates came to speak with Yuna throughout the afternoon. Some were curious. Some were frightened. A few were actually excited about the possibility of learning from human hunting and cooking techniques. The small being with 6 legs came back, bringing several friends who also wanted to hear about human-predator relationships. Yuna spent an hour explaining the concept of hunting culture to beings who had never considered fighting back against the creatures that frightened them. As the station's artificial sun began to dim, indicating evening time, High Speaker Malin arrived. Ambassador Yuna, Malin said, I wish to speak with you privately before you depart. Jonho started to leave, but Malin raised a wing to stop him. Your assistant may stay. I suspect he has been just as important in today's events. Jonho looked at Yuna, then nodded and remained. Malin settled onto a perching structure designed for bird-like beings. The High Speaker's 4 wings folded neatly against its body. In all my years leading this council, I have never seen a meeting quite like today's, Malin said. I hope we did not cause too much trouble, Yuna said. Trouble? No. You caused a revolution in thinking. That is different. Malin's 3-part mouth opened in what might have been a smile. For generations we have approached dangerous creatures with one strategy: avoidance. We mapped where they lived. We warned travelers to stay away. We built our colonies far from their territories. This approach has saved many lives. It sounds wise, Yuna said. It is wise, but it is also limited. Today, you showed us that there's another path. Your people do not just survive alongside dangerous creatures. You dominate them. You use them. You make them part of your culture. Malin paused, feathers rustling slightly. Some delegates are frightened by this. They see humans as even more dangerous than the creatures on our list. But I see something else. What do you see? Yuna asked. I see potential partners. I see beings who might help us overcome challenges we have avoided for too long. I see a species that might teach us a new way to exist in this dangerous universe. Yuna felt the weight of Malin's words. This was not just about food or cooking anymore. This was about how different species viewed their place in the galaxy. We are happy to share what we know, she said carefully. But our way is not the only way. And it is not right for every species. Of course. But knowing that another way exists, that is valuable in itself. Malin stood and spread wings wide in a gesture of respect. Return safely to Earth, Ambassador Yuna, and please tell your people that the galaxy is watching them now. With fear, yes, but also with great interest. I will tell them, Yuna promised. Hours later, Yuna and Junho were back on their small ship, traveling away from the council station. Through the window, Yuna watched the giant flower-shaped structure grow smaller and smaller. Wow, Junho said. Breaking the silence, that was not how I expected our first Galactic Council meeting to go. No, Yuna agreed. It was not. Do you think they will actually change how they deal with dangerous animals? Some might. Others will keep doing what has always worked for them. Change takes time. Junho nodded and turned to look at the stars ahead of them. Countless lights sparkled in the darkness. Each one was a sun with planets that might have their own terrifying creatures. What are you going to do when you get home? He asked. Yuna smiled. I think I am going to visit my grandmother. I suddenly have a strong desire for octopus soup. Junho laughed. That sounds perfect. What about you? There is a restaurant near my apartment that serves the best pufferfish. I think I will go there and enjoy every bite, even knowing how dangerous it is. Junho grinned. Especially knowing how dangerous it is. Is that not what makes it exciting? Yuna laughed. She supposed it was. Behind them, the council station disappeared entirely from view. Ahead of them, Earth waited. Home with all its dangerous creatures and delicious food. The galaxy now knew what humans were. They were predators. They were hunters. They were beings who looked at the things that could kill them and thought about recipes. Yuna was proud of that. She settled into her chair and closed her eyes, dreaming of her grandmother's kitchen, where the most terrifying creatures in the galaxy were prepared with love and served with rice. Dinner was waiting, and she was very, very hungry.